We're going to start off the list with a video uploaded on the YouTube channel Matt Studios. This one features something very similar to the Backrooms internet phenomenon, the pool rooms. Large, oddly constructed indoor swimming pools that have an odd dreamlike feel to them. But this video combines both, which I really like. We start off in a space very similar to your standard Backrooms setting. Our camera person roams through a large empty office space with the garish yellow lighting and dull buzz of the cheap VHS camera rolling. Soon they find a small, dark, square-shaped passage in one of the walls, and they squat down to start crawling through it. And on the other side, they find themselves in this large indoor pool area. It's stuff like this that I really love about these types of videos. You find yourself asking questions like, why was this place constructed in this way? Why are there corridors that seem to lead nowhere? And how is it that you can only access the pool through a crawl space in an office building? Your brain just can't wrap itself around it, and it creates this unsettling feeling in the pit of your stomach. Something is off. You just can't quite explain why. And the pool room is an eerie world in its own. Pleasant looking at first glance, but the more it's explored, the more ominous it feels, with its unlit corridors leading to and containing who knows what. Next up, we have the Backrooms informational video. This one is brought to us by the one who started it all, Kane Pixels. I guess he didn't really start it, but definitely popularized it. And it's another super well done video, very eerie and unsettling. This one starts off as an informational video, the type of instructional video you'd watch when starting a new job, specifically one that involves some type of danger or risk to your health. And the Backrooms are certainly dangerous. This video really builds on the lore of the Backrooms, which is definitely interesting, although I do like the mystery surrounding the idea. The unknown is what we often fear most of all, which I think the Backrooms exemplifies perfectly. And this video does a good job of giving you more context while not revealing it too much. There's still a lot that your brain is trying to fill in. There's something really unsettling about the opening instructional video portion of this video, though. It's so strange in context, but there's something familiar about it as well. It has the grain of an old VHS tape you'd watch in your elementary school science class, but there's something off about it, almost dreamlike once again. And I'll probably say this a lot in this video, but I think that's what the Backrooms does so well. It's a mix of the unknown, an unsettling, isolating space between spaces mixed with that nostalgia. Number 8 on the list, we have found footage number 1, uploaded to YouTube by Higana. This is just a very well done Backrooms video. You have all the hallmarks here, the liminal space, the yellow lighting, and this one, we get the horrifying backroom entity. There's a shot where you just see it standing off in the distance, making that unnatural, heavily distorted howling sound, and we get a fantastic jump scare here where the camera person turns away just for a second. When they turn back, the thing is way closer than it was before, and it's coming for them. Imagining just being in this situation is utterly chilling. I gotta play a Backrooms VR game or something. Anyone ever done that? Let me know. That would just be amazing. I've never even tried VR before, so Backrooms version, that would be quite the first time experience. Probably not recommended either. Next on the list, we have Shifting Rooms. This one was uploaded by the Odd Real YouTube channel, and it's another one that combines the Backrooms with a pool rooms type liminal space. It's a very ominous video. All these videos are pretty ominous, but this one is visually darker. There's just something that feels really dark about it. It starts off with the cameraman filming an old PC computer, when suddenly they're in an odd room and discover a tunnel, and they start sliding into it. Reminds me of one of those tube slides from when I was a kid, but smaller, more claustrophobic. You also hear what sounds to be heavily reverberated audio from the Disney Alice in Wonderland cartoon, which really adds to the theme of this person entering into a different, strange dimension. Once they're out of the tunnel, they find themselves in a darkly lit indoor pool area, and then they start exploring this strange space where there are these thin, dark corridors built into the walls. Again, why is this building constructed? Again, what has this building been constructed for, and what purpose does it serve? It's unknown. And throughout the video, you hear audio which seems to be coming from some unknown source as you continue moving through this large, cold, empty building. Great job on the odd reel. Definitely worth checking out this one. All right, next up we have Soup. This next video is brought to us by YouTube creator Crispy VFX. It's brilliant because it combines the backrooms with one of the internet's most infamously disturbing videos, and it's done really well. When it hits, it hits. Have you ever seen a creepy video online in some drab, ominous looking room and thought, what if I found myself in the same building where this video is, right in this eerie place that I'm thankfully separated from, just observing it through my computer screen? Well, this POV found footage style video places the viewer in that exact situation. Ever seen that weird old video, the guy eating ramen noodles with the mysterious man in the costume standing behind him? Well, this video takes us from the back rooms into that space. Fantastic idea and really well executed. This looks like old grimy VHS footage, and the sound design is so unsettling. I think that's another aspect that makes up not just a good backrooms video, but any good scary video. Next up we have Wall Holes. This video, uploaded by the YouTuber Kaufman, just came out recently, and I think it's well worth a watch. I like this one because it's just simple but effective. I find the backrooms themselves far more eerie than the weird monsters and the party goers and all that. Just give me this open space with dull yellow lighting, buzzing of the overhead lights, and some mysterious, dark, ominous areas that are just unlit for some unknown reason. Maybe some strange noises in the distance, and I'm uncomfortable already. And here we get exactly that. You also hear the person behind the camera whispering indistinguishably throughout the entire video, which gives the video this still unsettling quality while also being kind of hypnotic at the same time. It almost lulls you into a sense of calm, and then you get the ending. I don't want to spoil it for you though, so it's nothing crazy or anything, but it just sends a slight shiver up your spine. This next one was uploaded by YouTuber Reverse Logic and is simply titled Backrooms Found Footage. What I love about this one is how realistic the depiction of the backrooms looks. Some backrooms videos have a tendency of looking a little too strange and video game-esque, but this one has that perfect blend of realism with something just slightly off about the office space's layout that makes it feel unnerving. We get our cameraman who falls into the backrooms and spends most of the video moving through the large, dully lit, empty spaces, but what sets this one apart is the downright bone-chilling entity that seems to be stalking him through the empty halls. This thing is nightmarish, far creepier than the standard wiry, computer-generated entity you typically see. It's ghostly and oddly shaped, but still looks like something that could exist in our three-dimensional reality. Really off-putting stuff. At number 3 we have Level 232. This one was uploaded by YouTuber Ruster and takes place in a unique setting, a large empty grocery store. This is an even more familiar environment than the empty office building we typically see in backrooms videos. Most of us spend a fair amount of time at the grocery store, but that familiar setting feels nightmarish when you make it completely void of people and make the length of the space seemingly endless. Empty aisles upon empty aisles with no end in sight. You also hear old-timey music echoing through the space, which adds another surreal layer to the whole thing. At one point, our cameraman reaches the sliding doors that are the exit, but they won't open, and at his feet are what look to be various tools other unfortunate souls have used in an attempt to pry the doors open. And then an alarm goes off, all the lights are cut, and now we're just standing in silence. Nothing but a faint echo of someone or something begins to emanate from the depths of the darkness, and what comes out of it, you'll just have to watch to find out. At number 2, we have another pretty well-known backrooms video from Kane Pixels, found footage number 2. We start with the camerawoman placing several items into a taped off portion of the floor. The items simply go right through the concrete into some unknown space below, and she falls into the floor, ending up in the terrifying realm of the backrooms. You get some really haunting imagery here. She enters into a room where there are these chairs with legs that are just too long, sitting alone alone in the middle of the large room. She enters a large area where there's a car that's been smashed up and is kind of formed into the wall, and she comes across one of those harrowing entities that just makes you shudder. What's really impressive here, again, is how real it all looks. Kane Pixel's videos look like they were really shot in a large empty office space and then maybe enhanced with CG for certain parts, but it all looks like it was shot in camera to me, which is pretty fantastic. Of course, the VHS grain and low quality helps mask the computer generated elements, but still very, very well done. And at number 1 we have level 122. This one is absolutely fantastic. Props to Ruster once again here. This is one of the coolest Backrooms videos I've ever seen. It just feels like you're watching an actual nightmare play out on screen. We start with our cameraman entering into what looks to be a darkly lit parking garage. He finds an escalator, and as he begins ascending it, lights from above slowly begin turning on, and the few that were on below in the parking garage turn off, just leaving nothing but darkness down there. This video does a great job of creating this ominous suspense as he enters into different areas, and lights slowly turn on. You start to feel a sense of unease. Your mind starts coming up with images of what you might see as your eyes attempt to adjust to the new environment. Is that a person in that dark corner over there? Is very effective, and you get a few different eerie environments. Here he finds himself in an empty shopping mall that looks like it's right out of the early 90s. There's something warped and off about it, and then he ends up in a subway station. He enters into a dark room, and he tries to turn around back to safety. The mall's just gone. It's just a subway platform now. Again, very confusing and dreamlike.
Starting us off at number 10 is an alien demon. This clip first surfaced back in 2019 after a woman named Vivian Gomez was checking her security camera footage one morning. In this clip I'm about to show you, there is a creepy, pale, gaunt looking creature who walks, or whatever you want to call it, across her driveway, and I mean, I don't blame her for being freaked out. So as you can see, there is a very weird little humanoid looking creature that would for sure make me question my sanity if it popped up on my security footage. Now, of course, when it was posted, there were quite a few people that pointed out how much this creepy creature resembles Dobby the elf from Harry Potter, and I mean, honestly, I kind of do see that. Also, that funky little chicken dance thing that it's doing is definitely not the most intimidating thing a demon could do. But the funny Dobby point aside, it's still a super freaky video that definitely makes me feel all kinds of weirded out. I mean, look at that thing. It doesn't look human to me, that's for sure. Plus, all we are seeing is the back. Who knows what its face looks like, let alone what it could be capable of. Let's just hope that whatever it is, it's not looking to hurt us. Next up at number 9, a river monster. Now, this video starts off a little differently from the rest on this list, but I still thought it was weird enough to add to the list for you guys. As you can see, there are 2 people at the top of a hill with a stretcher, and a group of people in what appear to be hazmat suits a little bit down a ledge from them trying to pick something up. Now, a group of people wearing hazmat suits in the middle of the day by the river is definitely a little unusual to begin with, but what's even stranger than that is what they appear to be grabbing. If you take a look at the clip, it looks like whatever they're grabbing is some kind of strange creature, potentially even a demonic one. Some people online said they thought it looked like a mermaid, which, I mean, is definitely one theory. I don't know, you guys, let me know in the comments what you think this creature could be. Coming in at number 8, a skeleton demon. Demons come in all shapes and sizes, but until today I had never really thought about one that looked like a skeleton. I mean, I don't know, maybe that's just me. And hey, maybe it's not a demon, but then you can tell me what this creature might be. As you can see in the clip here, it looks like this came from some security footage, and right there, as you can see, is a creepy demonic alien skeleton thingy that will probably be etched into my brain for many days to come. But then something spooks it and it disappears behind a bush, and that's it. That's all we see of this terrifying creature. Now, some people online think this one could be a hoax, but I don't know. What do you guys think? Could that be a freaky skeleton demon coming to haunt you in your sleep? I sure as hell hope not. Next up at number 7, a demon possession. Now, don't get me wrong, I love ooky spooky content as much as the next person, but that doesn't mean I'm looking to get mixed up with demons or hoping to catch one on a ghost hunt. These guys, however, posted a video of their ghost hunt a little over a year ago to YouTube entitled "The Scariest Video You Will Ever Watch." Now, that's a pretty bold statement considering what is on the internet these days, but to be fair, there is a pretty freaky moment where it looks like one of the guys gets possessed. So as we can see, the lights are flickering, you know, classic demon stuff, and so they head into the room to investigate. But the creepy part comes when the guy holding the camera turns back and sees his friend with completely jet black eyes. I mean, if that were me in a haunted house with the lights flickering like that, I would definitely be running as far away as I could. But hey, to each their own. However, maybe the strangest part is that literally seconds later, it's gone and he's back to normal. I mean, I don't know. What do you guys think? Was he being possessed by an evil demon? Coming in at number 6, a creepy crawly. This next one was posted to the YouTube channel Kisa Weba, and it's definitely what my nightmares are made of. All demons are creepy, but there is definitely something about one that's crawling on the ground that adds an extra layer of shivers down my spine. As you can see in the clip, this demon is crawling across the pavement, full horror movie style on their hands, and behind them it looks like there is this trail of like demon ghostness falling behind them, or maybe that's just the shape of the demon. I'm not totally sure. Either way, it is an incredibly demon-looking thing to me, but whatever it is, I would 100% not want to run into this on my nighttime walk. That is for sure. Next up at number 5, a pale creature. This next clip is creepy to say the least. It was first posted to Twitter by the username ParanormalityM, and it immediately had just about the entire internet freaked out. In this clip I'm gonna show you here, there is an almost ghoulishly white creature that is probably one of the most indescribable things I've ever laid eyes on. I mean, you take a look for yourself and see, right? Look at that thing. Do you get what I mean? Like, actually, what is that creature? Some think it could have been some kind of paranormal sighting, while others joked it kind of looked like Gollum, which, truth be told, I can kind of get behind. However, the resemblance to Gollum or not doesn't make this ghoulish creature any less freaky, or any less possible of being a demon capable of possessing you and ruining your entire life. Coming in at number 4, Voldemort Demon. This next video was posted by an account called Supernatural back in 2020, and before I get into it, let me just start off by saying that the first thought I had about this demon was that it looked like Voldemort. That or Emperor Palpatine maybe, both of whom I would prefer to whatever the hell is in this clip. So as you can see, as the camera starts coming into focus, a terrifying dark creature is standing at the very back of the hallway staring right at the camera. Now, something about the fact that it doesn't move almost makes it scarier, like I am just waiting for something super bad to happen. However, whoever was filming this apparently likes to live on the edge, as it looks like they actually start getting closer to this evil cloaked demon. But then, completely out of nowhere, this Voldemort demon straight up falls away and disappears. I mean, look at that. Like, what is happening there? If there is one thing that is scarier than seeing a demon, it's seeing that demon disappear and having no sweet clue where the hell it went. Coming in at number 3, Monster Under the Bed. Thanks to horror movies, there are many people out there who are nervous to sleep with their toes outside of the covers on the off chance that a demon will come and grab them in the night. And listen, I'm not saying it makes complete sense, but I'm also saying that I might be one of those people. Now, while I'm not 100% sure, it seems like this might be footage of someone that's being possessed by a demon. That or it's a humanoid kind of creature, but either way, it's spooky and not anything I would ever want to come into contact with. In the clip here, you'll notice it starts on the bed, then is abruptly seen standing with its back to the camera before the clip jumps and all of a sudden sudden, this demon is shaking the bed by the bars like a maniac. This clip continues on to show the ghoulish white figure standing in the corners or contorted around the bed until maybe the creepiest part, when this demon looks as if it starts eating its own flesh. Listen, tell me what you see here. To me, this looks like a freaky demon possession that would 100% ruin my sleep. And if the demons that may or may not live under my bed are anything like this, then, well, let's just hope they leave me alone. Coming in at number 2, the floating girl. This next video was posted online back in 2017. However, according to the timestamp on the video itself, it looks like it was taken back in 1997. This section of the clip I'm gonna show you starts off with a woman who I'm going to guess is the priest or something, cracking what looks like a black egg into a bowl. I mean, already I'm confused, but that is quickly far less interesting as the possessed girl abruptly sits up and all you see are her piercing hollow black eyes. She drinks the egg concoction and then as quickly as she sat up, she throws her body back down into the bed. As you can see, things keep getting crazier. Her seemingly hollowed out eyes shoot back open and the next thing you know, she's floating off the bed. From there, her body starts slowly lowering down again until she grabs the camera and it goes blank. I mean, you guys are looking at the same thing as me here, and I have to admit that is some pretty freaky footage. And last up in our number 1 spot today, possessed by the devil. Not to be dramatic or anything, but this last clip I'm about to show you is utterly horrifying. I mean, honestly, I think that this clip is going to be seared into my mind for eternity, which is super fun. Like, just watch the clip here. Pardon me, the contorted face and body, the blood all over his mouth, and what was that evil laugh noise he was making? Also, can we talk about the ribs that may as well have been cracked open at the very end there? If there was ever a video to prove the existence of a demon possession, I would definitely put this video at the top of my list. That's all I'm saying, because really, I can't think of many other explanations for what I just saw.
Coming in number 10, we have the Croatian tape. The thing about found footage is it can easily be staged. There's no way of telling if what you're looking at is made by someone with the intention of freaking you out, or if it was actually the last moments of someone's life caught in a disturbing video. Well, that is what we have on our first point. The Croatian tape is said to be recorded in 2005, and no one has any idea of when it worked its way onto the internet. In the tape, there are 2 young boys who are just walking about late at night, and then they're approached by some strange man. There's a couple things that seem off about this dude. For one, he's stumbling around like he's drunk or disoriented, and 2, he has some sort of canvas bag on his head like he's Jason from the first Friday the 13th movie. First, this guy seems harmless. It seems like maybe he's lost, but then he starts to get aggressive and chase after the boys. They outrun him and make it back to their apartment building, and right when they think that they're safe, they see this in the elevator.
5 card, yes.
Now, this could have all been staged. I mean, how on earth did this baghead guy make it back to the elevator? But they might have been messing around with something supernatural that tracked them down. Coming in at number 9, we have the Paris catacombs footage. If someone invites you to come down into some catacombs for exploring, just say no. That's not a fun place to be, especially when you're in Paris. Why would you spend your time walking around with a bunch of old bones when you could be eating croissants until you need a forklift to sit upright? Well, in Paris, someone thought it would be a good idea to take a break from gorging on baguettes to look at some rotting bones. This is some of the most terrifying found footage I have ever seen. You have a POV shot of someone walking through this tunnel system. For the most part, everything seems normal, but then they start to panic. I don't know if it's the strange markings all over the walls that starts to freak him out, or maybe he got lost, or maybe he heard something, but it doesn't matter because he just starts running. As he's running, you can tell that he has no idea where he's going, and eventually he drops his camera and makes off into the darkness. Let's take a look at this man's panic.
Are pictures of bones.
The video shows the man exploring, but he soon begins to panic. He runs through the maze of tunnels and his breathing gets heavy. As he is running, you can hear and tell the man is freaking out.
Now, we have no idea why this guy started to panic or what happened to him after. The catacombs are like a maze that go on for miles in every direction, so there's a good chance that he got lost down there and was never seen again, or that whatever he was running away from caught up with him. Coming in at number 8, we have doorbell cam. There is nothing better than looking through some videos from your doorbell only to find a creeper walking close to your house. What could be worse than that? Well, what about a dude caught in the act of creeping around your house? I'm about to show you a man who was caught wandering around someone's home, and then they came right up to their door and did this.
He proceeds to knock and ring the doorbell.
The owner of this home woke up to a notification coming from their phone that someone was at their door. You know, sometimes I think it's weird that our lives are becoming so automated, but when you see something like this, you would be happy to have a camera on the front of your door. This person kept trying to work their way into the home in one of the strangest attempts I have ever seen. He rings the doorbell and then tries to break in afterwards. The man is probably deranged and had no idea what was going on. Coming in at number 7, we have the mysterious noise. Now, even when found footage doesn't have something that is explicitly creepy about it, like a dude with a bag on his head chasing you down the street, there can be something strange and creepy to it that just leaves a weird feeling in your stomach. That's how people feel about the Paraguayan camcorder footage. It would seem to be some sort of strange home video that has several different scenes spliced together. It follows a group of teens and all the footage is extremely grainy, which makes sense because the footage is apparently from the 90s. But then there comes this noise. You can hear that strange humming in the background. Now, while this is probably some static that was picked up because the recording is on a very old device, some other people think that this could be a curse of sorts. That if you listen to the full tape, it will bring a dark energy into your life as if you were watching the tape from The Ring. Coming in number 6, we have the South Korean ferry incident. Back in 2014, a ferry in South Korea would take on way too many cars and passengers. Now, even though the vessel should have been able to handle this many people on board, the waves were rough that day and the ship ended up tipping on its side. This is some of the footage from inside the ship.
수연아, 마지막 씨 진짜 팔기 보소. 나도. 우리 이렇게 바다로 헤엄쳐서 이렇게 될 거야. 수연아, 자, 이번엔 네가 들고 있어. 나 이제 토할 거 같거든.
This entire video is about 20 minutes long, and throughout most of it, no one really seems to think that they're in any danger. They are convinced that the people around them will all be saved when their rescue comes. Unfortunately, they were wrong, and many people that day were not saved. Coming in at number 5, we have the skeleton at the door. Having a doorbell camera might bring in more stress into your life than you would think. Let me show you this footage, and then you can see how stressful it would be to see something like this happen at the front of your house.
With a piece of tape. The homeowner got an alert that motion was detected on the porch, and upon checking the footage was ready to grab his gun. It's not known what was done while the tape was covering the camera.
You see a creepy skeleton come out of the darkness and then cover up the camera to your door. Now, apparently, this didn't lead to anything. It was probably just some kids goofing around, but some kids goofing around can make you feel like your home is about to get broken into by the undead. Coming in at number 4, we have a towering flame. This is one of the most famous cases of found footage in the 90s. When you hear the start of this, you will literally think it's a plot for a B movie, but this is really what happened. It was in California, and on the side of the road, there were some old cassettes that were found. On these tapes was a recording of a massive blaze. It was a house that had been set on fire. Here is some of the footage from that tape.
Asexual turn-ons.
That is just a taste of the whole thing. The rest of the footage goes on for about 4 minutes. You can hear people laughing and you can only assume that those were the people who lit the fire. For a while this was just a tall tale and some creepy footage, but eventually the tape made it onto Unsolved Mysteries, and through this the people were able to track down the culprits. It turned out to be 2 teenagers who were both arrested and tried for their crimes. Coming in at number 3, we have an oncoming train. This footage is some of the most infuriating and depressing footage on this list. It comes from a movie shoot in 2014 when a crew was filming a movie about Greg Allman. They were on a train bridge and they thought that they had all day to shoot, but there was something that the director didn't tell them. The director had contacted the city to get permission to shoot on the bridge, but they were denied the right to shoot twice. Then the crew had to rush off the bridge while the train was barreling towards them. Unfortunately, not everyone was able to make it out of the way of the train safely. When everything was said and done, the production company was sued and had to pay out over $3 million, and the director was thrown in prison for manslaughter. Coming in at number 2, we have No Through Road. There have been a lot of theories about No Through Road. On the footage, there are 4 English teens driving around late at night until they get lost. Eventually, they get to a dead end and try to work their way back, and their car stalls. Then they are confronted by this.
Jay, just give me the... What are you doing? Turn it back on.
It's not me. I can't.
Turn the bloody lights on!
Now, that seems pretty terrifying. What on earth do you think that thing is? It looks like it could have just been a regular man, but the rest of the footage is too gruesome for me to show you here. It cuts some of the previous footage on the camera in between these young men being attacked by this strange figure. Now, when you watch it, I would guess that this is a very well put together project from a few teens who wanted to make a short horror movie. But when you dig deeper into the story, the rumors say that the car was found with blood all over it, and there was only the tape left in the car. And coming in the number 1 spot, we have the Stephen McDaniels footage. This is by far some of the most chilling footage that you could ever see. Stephen McDaniels was a very troubled person. He was classmates with Lauren Giddings, and even though the two barely interacted, he had an obsession with her. Without her knowing, he would creep outside her window and film her. Here's some of that footage. Just seeing that makes the hair on the back of my neck stand up. This entire time, Lauren had no idea that there was someone outside her apartment, and it was the last day of school when Stephen would break into her apartment. The police were later notified and found the footage I just showed you on Stephen's computer. Stephen is currently in prison, and there's a good chance he will never be released.
Number 10, regulations. Drones, right off the bat, they're not a new piece of technology, but they're most definitely becoming more widespread. Especially living downtown Toronto, I see drones all the time. And yes, I get mad at them every single time for no reason. I always think it's aliens too for like 4 seconds, and I'm like, nah, just that guy over there. Surveys suggest that drone technology that's upcoming, that's what the general public fears the most. I mean, fair. That and VR, pretty ominous. Very Black Mirror vibes going on with those two. And part of this, or really a lot of this, is due to the fact that since this technology evolved so quickly, the laws and regulations surrounding drones, well, they haven't exactly had time to catch up. They're cool and all, but drones are quite invasive. Like I said, I see them a lot, and I don't wanna. These devices can make others feel like they're being spied on, when really we're just enjoying the view. In Portsmouth, one man was caught sunbathing on top of a 175-foot tall wind turbine. Yeah, what a location. There we go. The closer to the sun, the better, I guess? I don't know what his mentality is. Drone operator Kevin Miller spotted Joseph Byron catching a cool breeze on top of a turbine. Now, the man had obviously been asked about his parkour endeavor and how he got up there, of course. And apparently he's been climbing the turbine for over a decade, just for some alone time. Yeah, that guy's for sure Batman. Leave people alone. Stop flying drones near them. Number 9, ghosts. Ah yes, the black-eyed ghouls of Cannock Chase Forest in Stratfordshire, England. You've heard about this one? No? Huh. Listen up. They've been a local legend for hundreds of years now, and now we're finally at a time where drones are responsible for ghost photography. Yep, no escaping now, Casper. We have altitude and speed, buddy. These ghouls, they've been thought to be ghost victims that died from diphtheria outbreak back in the 1800s, so it's not like a scary ghoul Elden Ring type situation. It's just some lost souls, just some sad stuff. They're also said to be victims of Raymond Morris, who took the lives of several people back in the 1960s, so could be outbreak victims and could be worse. Either way, we got it all on drone cam. Check it out. Did you see a ghost wearing a white dress? A little odd to be in the woods like that, no? Definitely without bug spray, you'd probably be a little itchy. Imagine being a ghost and now you have to fly away from a drone. How stressful is that? Just a ghost racing a drone? Next Paranormal Activity right there. Number 8, Jeepers Creepers. This one I am not a fan of, okay? Some are afraid of heights, so that last one probably scared you. If you're afraid of clowns, well, buckle up. I grew up watching Jeepers Creepers, right? That movie ruined my childhood. Now this clip takes me back to the good old days. Kelly Lopez took his drone for a spin over a cornfield, maybe hoping to see some abandoned tractors, a sunset. Wouldn't hurt, who knows? When looking back at the footage, Kelly discovered a clown that also discovered Kelly's drone. Yeah, the last thing you'd expect in a cornfield, right? Just a clown. A minute into the footage, the clown notices the drone and then sprints. It takes off so fast. It's almost like he got caught doing something, you know what I mean? Or else why would you run? Doing what though? I don't want to know. Why is he dressed up like a clown too? I need answers. I need all the answers. Or maybe I don't. I don't know. This is too creepy. Let's move on. Number 7, Chernobyl. On April 26, 1986, reactor number 4 at the Chernobyl power complex erupted. It was just a horrible time. It erupted due to unstable and low power levels. And in turn, reactor 4 had been shut down a day before due to maintenance. And the next day at 1:23 a.m., radioactive debris compiled of fuel and reactor components just rained down over the building. And toxic fumes were then carried from the wind, and after just 4 months, 28 workers had died due to radiation exposure. Fast. Now eventually, they of course had to evacuate over 100,000 residents, and to this day, that zone is a no-go for humans. No can do. But drones, on the other hand, sure, they can swoop in and have a different fate. That area right now is full of nature, but humans are nowhere in sight, so it's pretty beautiful on a grim note. It looks like something from The Last of Us. Reactor 4 will stay highly radioactive for another 20,000 years, so I want to grab a drone soon. Number 6, Shark Circle. Cool, all the fears in one video. Let's do it. See, this is where I can get behind drone videos. This is where I like drones. Just this one time. The ocean, right? We have no idea what's in there, in the top or the bottom. So let's fly over and see if there's any treasure or shipwrecks laying around. Much safer. Even for rescue purposes, right? If someone's in a cave, maybe they're spelunking and they go missing, well, send in a little drone. Don't send in more people to get stuck. I should be like a guy in the chair who like controls them. That's kind of fun. This next clip here shows surfers from South Africa not realize that they're paddling around a circle of sharks. Yeah, they looked at the footage afterwards and they were like, oh, we were almost lunch. How lovely. Now, I've swam with sharks before. I don't think sharks are the worst ever, obviously. I'm not endorsing that. But the circling part, the number of them and the circling, nah, I'm good. Number 5, massive whirlpool. This next one here will get a certain group of people. Again, me, I'm not a fan of large bodies of water or the ocean or circles of sharks. But murky water, like murky lakes, they're on my big fear list. I don't like those. I don't like putting my foot in a dirty lake. Back in February 2017, while waters were rising at Lake Berryessa in California's Napa Valley, the Glory Hole Spillway, don't you dare laugh at that. The Glory Hole Spillway did what life intended it to do. Did some spilling, there you go. Now thankfully a drone guy was nearby, always handy, those drone guys. So now we get to watch the horrors from above. Take a look. It's also terrifying too when the water is not up that high, because now you have this massive pipe just emerging out of the lake, which, I mean, that's a bit worse of a fear, in my opinion. Number 4, inside of a volcano. Awesome, just gives away everything in the title. If you're near an active volcano, don't film it. Just imagine it's the movie Dante Peak and run. Run far away for 1 hour and 46 minutes. Unless you're an expert. In that case, sure, put on your cool Iron Man spacesuit and then go sacrifice a couple of drones. Do it in the name of science, and then we'll watch and click the like button. A team of National Geographic explorers and scientists, well, they did just that, and it's very impressive. They had to sacrifice 2 drones to get up close to this active Merom crater on the Abram volcano in Vanuatu. Take a look. And also, shield your eyes, it's quite hot.
Iron-rich, which layers are sulfur-rich. Within the caldera as a whole, there's certainly life. Coating the walls as you go down, on some of the surfaces down at the bottom, almost certainly there's a high microbial constituency.
The volcano has a 7.5 mile wide caldera, and its active craters contain lava lakes that flow forever. So, number 3, Corvette sinkhole. I feel like this point is terrifying for a very specific group of people. Only if you're a Corvette guy. If you're watching, then, you know, you've been warned. Otherwise, it's just an epic fail, really. I'm glad nobody got hurt, if anything. In a bizarre turn of events, a sinkhole opened up inside of the National Corvette Museum in Bowling Green, Kentucky. Yeah, inside of the museum, it just whoom, and then everything fell in. This was back in 2014. Now, like I said, luckily, nobody was around when the portal to the underworld opened up, but 8 Corvettes did get swallowed. 8 Corvettes bit the bullet. The devil wanted those 8 Corvettes for a very specific reason. I don't know. Maybe he likes to ride in style. He likes the roof off type vibe, you know? The Bowling Green Daily News reports that the sinkhole was not small. No, it was 20 feet deep and 40 feet wide in diameter. Now again, this all happened at 5:38 a.m. in the dome area of the museum, so no injuries. But if you're a car guy, this one's bad news. Prepare yourselves, here we go. The 8 cars claimed by the sinkhole included the 1993 ZR1 Spider, a 2009 Blue Devil ZR1, ironic, Blue Devil, that's why he wants it, and even the 1993 40th anniversary Corvette. Yikes, all in that hole. Whoops, what are the odds? Now the 2 ZR1s were on loan from General Motors, while the rest of the cars, well, they were just owned by the museum, so just a big L, very expensive L in my opinion. Sinkholes in this part of Kentucky are apparently not uncommon, so keep your head up, I guess. It sits on what geologists refer to as a karst region, where there are many underground caves and springs. Now, funny enough, engineers determined that the museum remains structurally sound. Still wouldn't catch me in there, no way. Sinkhole or not, I'm never gonna go to a Corvette museum in my life, probably. But if you're a car guy, hey, there you go. Number 2, bikes. Yeah, I bet you didn't think I would put bikes on this list, did ya? Well, think again, pal. It's one thing to see a city thriving and growing, like with many people, but especially that many people on bikes and bikers doing wacky lane change movements, it's a lot. But to see abandoned bikes just piled up, that's just sad. I'd rather see the opposite. I'd rather see an overflowing city than see a pile of dead bikes. Feels like something straight out of the movie WALL-E. Bike sharing has become a popular form of transportation around the world. Now in China, the supply of bikes is much greater than the demand. Add new regulations from local governments to lessen the amounts of bikes on streets, and well, now you end up with abandoned, and most of the time, never even used bikes, all sitting piled up in graveyards all across the country. Now, if you find one, this isn't a treasure chest. Leave it alone. This is a one-way trip to tetanus, so don't climb and explore. Don't be like DW from that one episode of Arthur, where she cuts her leg on the can because she's in the garbage thing. Now remember. That's what drones are for, okay? That's what I'm for. Photographer Wu Guoyang captured drone footage of 15 massive bike graveyards, and they're all equally as haunting. The photographer claims that we're literally throwing away bikes, and that doesn't seem right. I have to agree. Give me like 3 of them. I had 2 stolen when I was younger, so 2 wouldn't hurt. That's all I'm saying. And finally, number 1. Bird drones. We'll finish on a weird one, right? Why not? That's what we're here for. Bird drones is not a new concept by any means, but back in the early 60s, the CIA had this secret program called Project Aqualine, where they used these large drones with a low radar cross-section and a little camera, all that cool spy stuff, and then they got caught. Obviously, it didn't look like a bird at all. They began working on it in 1965, and the first prototype, well, it was a bit obvious, wasn't it? It weighed over 100 pounds, it was this massive eagle, but the only way to catch it was to fly it into a net, which broke something every single test flight, so didn't work. We left it for a while. But now, cut to 2022, yeah, there's for sure a drone pigeon out there watching you somewhere. Olivia just did a couple lists on hidden cameras, so birds and drones, probably, someone's probably thought about it. People don't even think birds are real. They think those are drones, so if you're one of those people, I'm sorry, this video definitely did not help you. But if you're not one of those people, hit thumbs up, hit subscribe, and come back. We'd love to see you. Keep thinking that birds are real. That's great. Starting our list off at number 10, the Red Door. Okay, if you're a fan of Haunting of Hill House, this first one here should tickle your fancy. Here we go. I'm terrified already. This is some hospital footage because, why not? This video starts off with a flickering light, but as the person filming walks down the hallway, the door at the end begins to open and close repeatedly. Like this, check it out. Now, once they reach said red door that was opening and, slamming shut, they realize nothing is there and it doesn't really go anywhere. The door just leads to pipes, like water supply pipes in case of emergencies, you know what I mean? So they're inspecting it to see what have caused the opening and closing when they began to hear banging coming from another door further down the hallway. And then, of course, like Looney Tunes, they go and check out that one as well. When they check it out, they find nothing and nobody. Honestly, you guys, when I saw the door at the end, when it didn't lead anywhere, I was upset. I was like, oh, someone's faking it. Maybe someone's there, doing something on the other side. Nope, just terrifying. There we go. Number 9, historic home tape. No, not one of those home tapes, you freaks. That's another video. This footage comes from a camera that was found at a historic home by a company that works specifically with historic homes. So specific. The footage found shows a few people just exploring around this abandoned home, checking out whatever's going on in creepy houses, whatever we do on weekends. Apparently people like to explore abandoned stuff, because why not? We don't get to see what it is, but something very obvious freaks them out and they're not having it. They're scared while they're filming and then something else weird happens. Check it out.
Hello?
Now this is where the footage from one camera ends and then another camera's footage begins. There we go. It's like, here's a sequel for you. The audio is pretty distorted at parts, which kind of makes it scarier, but check out the other part as well. I'm not exactly sure what happened or who these people are, but something's going on in here. You know what? I'm tapping out. Let's move on. Number 8, Barton Mansion Ghost. This video is from 2001. Somebody explored through the Barton Mansion in California because, like I said earlier, some people like doing that for some reason. This mansion is said to be the home of tons of sinister happenings, satanic rituals, paranormal activity. It's even said that a demon haunts the top floor. It's kind of cool though, demon haunting the top floor. He's like, I shot to the top bunk, and then just floats around. It's said that the night before this video was taken, a group had broken into the abandoned basement, and there they found a creepy configuration of stones surrounding a piece of meat. They came back the next day to take some more video footage of the place, and the part of the video that I wanted to show you is basically a first-person view as somebody explores through said mansion. And it's when they spot something that none of us wanted to see, and that's when all hell breaks loose. Here we go. What exactly did he see there? I have no idea. If you have any ideas, put in the comments down below because I won't be able to sleep. Great. Number 7, clown sightings. This footage comes again from another home surveillance camera, and I feel like these things always catch the creepiest happenings. I just did a doorbell camera video where the dude's licking the guy's doorbell. That's the worst thing I've seen in ages. This time, when the homeowner went to check their footage, they were greeted by an extremely creepy clown. Yeah, I'm not sure if you remember years back when there was like a clown craze. Everyone just wanted to be clowns for some reason and hang out next to the highway. That was weird. I'm hoping that's where this video comes from, but again, there's no explanation, so we just gotta dive in and wonder.
Grabs a pumpkin and then tears it apart. The clown stares awkwardly at the camera before disappearing into the darkness.
I like that the reporter commented that the clown looked awkward at the camera before leaving. Yeah, awkward. That's for sure the word I would use for this encounter. Awkward. Not terrifying. Number 6, Blockbuster Ghost. Oh, a classic. For those of you who don't know, before the age of streaming and, LimeWire, Netflix, all that amazing technology, we had to go to a store with our legs and our families. We had to put on our winter coats to go rent a movie. And sometimes we got there and there was only wide screens left of said movie. That was always the worst. You're like, I guess. I would go in and hide a video sometimes, and then come back with my family, we'd find it, and then rent it. Now, as many good memories that rest there in Blockbuster, there's also some haunting ones. This surveillance camera footage shows an employee, after closing, restocking some of the shelves in the store, and then they notice something flying off one shelf while they're stocking it. And when he finishes stocking one shelf, he moves on to the next, but one video on the shelf he just worked on immediately falls off. Okay, maybe he put the video on the shelf in a, awkward angle. It wasn't a tight 45, maybe it was one of those and it kind of slipped down. It happens. But when he walks away, it flies off the shelf again. Now at this point, I would have already dipped, I would have signed out, maybe even quit my job, who knows. But he goes back, picks the video up, and he walks away again, but this time a video on the other shelf falls down right in front of him, and then as he reaches to pick that video up, another video falls, and then a third one falls. And then he understandably runs off after that. That's just, yeah, to be honest, at that point, I would leave. I would leave after the first video fell, if I'm being honest. Number 5, witch caught on tape. I am terrified of witches. I don't like this one. Okay. This video comes from Mexico and it's said to be a sighting of a witch flying through the air. I love this video. I saw this long before I started working here and it's been rent-free, just sitting right in there. I don't like how slow she's going too. Like, she's not in any rush. The people who recorded the video said they could see the figure wearing a cape, which is why, of course, we all assume that it's a witch. And also, she's flying through the air, so there's that too. Just to add another layer of to this already kind of weird video, police officers from the area also explained that they had seen some sort of witch-like creature before this footage was even captured. They said they saw some sort of creature dressed in all black with huge claws, and it had their head hanging down low. Like, imagine a police officer, I'd be like, what, go get that thing then. What are you talking about? Is that a gargoyle? I've seen Lord of the Rings. Can we close the city? That's terrifying. That's a demigorgon. Number 4, Creeper in the back. Not creeper in the front, that's a different video. This is creeper in the back. Here we go. With so much of the world working from home and needing to do Zoom calls all the time, and now we're just comfortable and no one wants to go back to the office, so we're just gonna keep doing it forever, I guess. After you see this clip, you're gonna be looking over your shoulder every time you're in a meeting in the future. Yeah, you don't want anything like that creeping around your house at any point. When you're looking or not looking, honestly. The sad part is that guy looked like he was having a good time. Maybe he got a promotion on this Zoom call, you know, whatever was going on. He was loving it until, you know, the scary demon apparatus cloud monster thing appeared, of course. Then it kind of went downhill. Now I don't know what the aftermath is of this video, so if you want peace or sleep tonight, I can't help you. I'm not the guy for you. I just report the videos and go, that's scary, next. Number 3, the clip. This is a video that's titled Clip 95 MP4, and after watching it, honestly, I'm good with the other 94, to be honest. I wish I could explain to you guys what's going on in this video, but again, like the rest of them, I have no idea. That's why I included them. They're really baffling. It's a weirdly put together VHS tape, montage, whatever, that features some strange looking people in masks, a weird thing that maybe looks like a clock, and then a whole bunch of, it's just bad vibes. You know, Chris, just bad vibes going on. It's just not the mood for us. I don't know what's going on, but I don't want to find out, again, like the rest. I don't know what's going on with the clock symbolism here either. It's very specific. I feel like I'm late watching this video. Like I have like the anxiety going on now. Number 2, the chair. Not to be confused with the WWE wrestling move, the chair. This is way less fun, this one. I grew up watching the big comfy couch. I love comfy couches and comfy chairs. I'll sit on both all day long. A rocking chair as an adult, I'll be asleep in minutes. I love this. Except for when it's haunted and it just rocks by itself. Then in that case, I don't want to buy that. No thank you. This is a video of exactly that. It's a chair that is said to have been purchased, used just a couple of days prior, and let me tell you, I hope they kept a receipt. My grandma had a rocking chair, and she said that it would move on its own from time to time. Isn't that terrifying? My grandma told me that when I was like 8. And finally, number 1, VHS for sale. This VHS tape was found at an estate sale that was being held in a barn. Now the person who uploaded this tape found them in 10 boxes that they had purchased, amongst, you know, other things such as records, rusted tools, old paint cans, just borderline garbage, and they're like, ah yes, I'll paint it a different color and sell it for $1 more. And then, you know, sure. This video shows somebody walking through some sort of mildly wooded area in the daytime, which, okay, yeah, fine, that's all great and dandy, but then it cuts to a night scene immediately, and that's when the uncomfortable feelings start to rise up. That's when I feel like I'm gonna throw up on my keyboard watching this video. I have absolutely no idea what the white thing being dragged is, but hey, guess what? I don't want to find out. There we go. What a fun list that was. Kicking off the list at number 10, doorbell lawn camera. We'll start with a recent doorbell cam recording, okay? Those are always terrifying. Every time I see one of these, first of all, I think of the Paranormal Activity franchise. I get so creeped out just looking at them. This video was submitted by Robert Parks. Now it shows the lawn, his front lawn, around 4 a.m. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, a naked man appears. That's always fun. Yeah, he was trying to cover up his, you know, goods, or not goods rather, but given the fact that he was still, you know, naked, it was pretty horrifying after the fact. You can't hear it because we had to mute the audio, obviously, but he's yelling about snakes being all over him. Yeah, luckily police arrived and gave the man the help he needed, but imagine somebody going through a rough time. Like, I feel bad, but you also have to stay safe at the same time. You can't have a naked dude running inside your home talking about snakes on a plane or whatever. Number 9, Bigfoot caught on tape. This video is said to have caught the Russian Bigfoot himself. Also, Russian Bigfoot, another Bigfoot, are there many Bigfoots? We'll talk later. The exact location of where this video was taken is still unknown. In fact, there isn't a ton known about this video at all, hence why it's on our list today. But what we do know is that it was taken somewhere in Russia and that people believe it captures the real Bigfoot. It's a short clip that captures him, so I'm just gonna show you guys and then you can decide for yourselves. Comment down below. I don't know, I'm kind of on the fence personally. If Bigfoot was real, it's time we pay up. I mean, come on. This man's image has been used in the media for years. How is he paying his bills? Also, is there one Bigfoot or multiple? Is there a Russian Bigfoot? Is there a Canadian Bigfoot? Is Chris the Canadian Bigfoot? I don't know. Maybe. He wears a lot of plaid, who knows? Number 8, Matt doesn't live here. Okay, this one I need your help on. There's a backstory that I need to figure out right now. Back in 2016, in the middle of an August summer night, this man approaches. Again, topless, always a great sign, just naked dudes approaching homes all of a sudden. And he's slowly approaching and he's looking back at somebody off camera. He has a look like he's about to rob the place almost. It's kinda, he's doing this. He's kind of tiptoeing in and out. It's not looking good. But instead of knocking and running like we all did when we were 15 years old, he pretends to knock. He knocks the air and then pretends to ask somebody who's not there if Matt is home. I don't know if he did this so the other person could see, maybe it was like a prank or a dare, or maybe it was an attempt to break in and we just didn't really connect all the dots, or he didn't follow through with the plan. Or he chickened out, I don't know. Either way, I'm glad nothing really bad happened. So creepy, either way. Number 7, Milgram experiment footage. This video comes to us from the 1960s, and it's apparently from the experiment known as the Milgram experiment. Basically, the premise was that they got two groups of people, okay? One called the teachers and one called the learners, and they paired them up, one from each group. So far, so good? Awesome. The pair couldn't see each other, but the teacher would ask the learner a question. The teacher was then told to give them an electrical shock. Yeah, every question made the shocks get worse and worse until an eventual fatal shock would be administered.
It'll be 195 volts. The correct one.
Let me out of here.
Slow. Dance.
Let me out of here. My heart's bothering me.
Now, before the experiment, it was proposed that only 3% of the participants would go all the way and would actually give the fatal shock. But it turned out that under pressure, 65% of the teachers actually gave the lethal dose of electricity to their learner counterparts. Now, luckily the students were actually just actors, so nobody was truly getting hurt here, hence the experiment. But it is honestly very creepy to see on footage. We always heard about this, but seeing it happen, it does something in here that I don't really like. Number 6, TV head. Stepping away from the worst of the worst or the weird or whatever's going on in that last video, let's shine the spotlight on some, I guess, creative happenings, dare I say? Like for example, the guy wearing a TV on his head. Apparently that's a thing now. Awesome. In Toronto, we have a guy that walks backwards around the city. And then here in Virginia, they have a guy who wears a TV on their head. So back in 2019, this man would appear all over in Virginia. He visited more than 50 residents in his time, and he would show up with a TV as a head, and then if that wasn't already creepy enough, he would leave an old TV on your doorstep in the middle of the night, and then just leave. That's so annoying to move. Also, it is pretty creepy. Many believe this man was inspired by the comic book series Saga. There's a race of TV alien heads. This could be a fan of, Prince Robot IV. Either way, this is annoying. You're walking on our property, you're leaving TVs. I wouldn't lift this up. Are you kidding? My brittle back? I couldn't lift a TV. I can't even lift a laptop now. Get out of here. Number 5, Salem Road. This video shows a couple guys driving in a truck down a road in what looks to be like a very rural area. It's not too bright or fun. Now they're just two guys being dudes hanging out, blasting some Coldplay, whatever you do with your dudes on the weekends. Now you know a little bit more about me. All of a sudden they come across a woman dressed in white walking down the middle of the road. So they turn down their Coldplay, probably, and they swear a bunch. Obviously they're in shock. Just a woman walking down in the middle of the road in what appears to be the middle of nowhere, and then all of a sudden these men driving up behind her. It looks bad from both point of views, know what I mean? They stop the truck and one of them gets out to go check on her to see if she's okay, because she's walking kind of, ghoulish. She's got like the ghoulish walk. Now the guy continues freaking out. He's telling them to get out of there, and the other guys don't believe him until they realize that seemingly out of nowhere this lady is now right in front of their truck. Awesome, we love phantoms. The video ends with this clip. I'm not sure who or what this lady was or what's going on here, but that's all I gotta say. One of these. Number 4, overnight break-in. This next found footage comes from a doorbell camera, one of my favorites, and it shows the terrifying moment a stranger begins trying to break into a woman's home. This is my worst fear, if I'm being honest here. She starts off by backing up and throwing her body into the window until it finally breaks. Now the stranger wasn't in any immediate danger or anything like that, but it does appear as though she may be a little bit confused about her whereabouts, which is obviously sad when you look at it. The woman whose home is obviously freaked out. More than fair. I mean, imagine this happening out of the blue, middle of Survivor finale. You're like, what's that sound? What is that? Yeah, that ought to be jarring. Eventually, a police officer showed up and spoke to the woman who claimed that her friend was in the house. Now, obviously, this was not the case, but this is why I believe she may have been a little confused as to where she was. In the end, it just so happens that alcohol had a little something to do with it, so everyone was okay. It was just a rough night. You know what I mean? Number 3. Chernobyl footage. Okay, this one comes to us from the later 1980s when there was a nuclear disaster in Chernobyl, obviously. I don't have to go into detail about this one. In April of 1986, there was an explosion and a fire taking place at the Chernobyl nuclear power plant. This explosion happened when there was an issue and they were trying to begin an experiment which was set to actually make the reactor more safe, but in turn it didn't work out. Unfortunately, the way the reactor was designed placed too much responsibility in the hands of an operator. One thing led to another, and it was this huge, tragic disaster. The amount of radiation in the air caused alarms at the Forsmark nuclear power plant in Sweden. Footage I'm about to show you is just a small glimpse into what things looked like soon after this took place. I can't imagine how scary this must have been for everybody involved. Even watching it is disturbing, to be honest with you. Chernobyl today is still pretty much a ghost town, but there are people who live there. Some of them never even left in the first place. Number 2, doorbell licker. And immediately back into the weird stuff. This was one of my favorites, I have to include it. This was short and sweet, not much explaining to do here. Just a dude going up on a doorbell. Back in 2019, a man was caught on surveillance approaching a home in a neighborhood in Salinas, California. He doesn't say much, he just shows up and, well, like I said, starts licking the doorbell. Just goes to town on this button. Not the camera, the actual button, the actual doorbell itself. He rang the bell apparently hundreds of times. He did this for hours straight. Now the homeowner said in a following interview after seeing the footage, "Oh boy, that is weird." Yeah, see me, I would laugh hysterically, and then after I'd be like, okay, we have to move. Number 1, overnight visitor. This video was taken from a surveillance camera that was placed inside of a couple's home. Yeah, inside, not outside, in. Having a camera inside of your home isn't too common, but sometimes you're lucky you have one. Like this example. These people had one because what it caught while they were sleeping is one of the creepiest things I've ever seen in my life. When the couple woke up one day, they were unable to find a purse that they knew was in the house before they went to go to sleep, right? They're like, well, it was pretty much just right there next to my chapstick. I know where my chapstick is. So they decided to check their handy security camera, and this is what they found. As it turns out, the couple fell asleep on the couch watching TV, and as they were sleeping there, a man crept in, and he was so quiet he didn't even wake them or their dog up. Yeah, he stood at the top of their stairs watching them sleep for a few minutes, which just adds another layer of, I'm gonna shit my pants, and then that's it, Bob's your uncle. I wouldn't even keep this tape, I would throw it out. This is cursed in itself. I'm glad the robber only took the purse and didn't do anything else. How scary is that?